Hello, and welcome to my little city homestead. Today, I will be processing 40 pounds of apples, 20 of Gala and 20 of Fiji. I will be making apple pie filling, applesauce, and starting the process for apple cider vinegar. As you can see here, I am starting to peel and slice the apples. I love this little gadget. My husband bought it a few years ago, and it's been used many times since. These apples are from Azure Standard. They are organic. They were also on sale, so we got a pretty good deal on these apples, and I'm excited to make all of the yummy goodness today. As I peel and slice these apples, I am dividing them into 3 containers, one of peels and cores, one of the sliced apples themselves, and another of discard scraps. The sliced apples are going into a bucket with lemon juice and water. This first batch of apples will be used to make applesauce. So here I am scooping the apple slices out of the water and juice mixture and putting them into my roasting pan. Then I'm going to add some of the apple juice / lemon juice / water in to help with the roasting process. And there we have it. Look how pretty. Now that the first batch is done, I'm going to go ahead and start setting up for my second batch. I'm going to add some water and some lemon juice to a bucket here to help prevent browning. This second batch of apples will be used for making apple pie filling. I'm going to save all of the cores and the peels and use those to start a batch of homemade apple cider vinegar. At this point, I'm starting to realize that I probably need to swap out my tiny bucket of peels and cores with the scrap bucket here to make more apple cider vinegar. So I'm going to swap that out. Impossible! Yay! So I'm just going to go ahead and finish cutting up the last apple here and separating the cores and the skin, and then cleaning up a little bit to get ready for the canning process. I'm going to go ahead and start making the sugar and water solution to add to the peels and cores to begin the process of making my apple cider vinegar. As I wait for the sugar to dissolve and more water to filter, I'm going to go ahead and recheck my recipe. I am using the ball apple pie filling recipe. I'm going to check on the apples that are roasting for the applesauce. I'm going to give them a quick stir here. They already have sugar and cinnamon in them. Now I'm going to pour my sugar water solution onto my peels and cores. This is a 16:1 ratio, 16 cups of water to 1 cup of sugar, and clearly I need to do another batch because there's not enough to cover all of the peels. While I wait for more water to filter, I'm going to go ahead and blanch the apples in small batches to prepare them for the apple pie filling. While all this is going on, I figured it would be a good time to get my water boiling in the canner. Here I am just explaining that my plan is to make sure that the water covers all of the peels and cores. We don't want any sticking out. And then I was also explaining how much sugar and water I was using. I am finishing up the last batch of blanched apples, and I'm starting to think about the ingredients that I will need for the apple pie filling. One of them is apple juice, so I figured I would use the juice that's left here in the pot along with some of the juice that's left in the bucket and use that as my fresh apple juice. I want to pour this juice in there and use that as the unsweetened apple juice. Hey babe, can you help me? I would like this to be poured into that bucket. Okay. I just think it's too heavy for me. Just please don't burn yourself. Thank you. So I'm grateful for Ken to come in and help me pour the hot juice into the bucket. Also, I will be grateful if you ignore the paint swatches on my wall. We are in the process of redoing our kitchen, giving it a little facelift, and so you'll see the paint every so often. I wish you could smell this. It smells amazing in this kitchen right now. Between the apples and the spices, ooh, it smells so good. More cinnamon. As you can tell, I had already added 2 tablespoons of Azure's apple pie spice blend to the pot. Added some pumpkin pie spice. Now I am adding the juice that my husband had poured into the bucket back into the pot. I think it was 4.5 cups. Now I am measuring out my clear gel and getting ready to add that to the warm juice and spices in my pot. I'm going to take the time to whisk in the clear gel well to help prevent clumping, and then I'm going to add the blanched apples back into the big pot and fold them in gently to help prevent breaking. Now that the filling is ready and the pot of jars is boiling, I'm going to swap burners because my burner on the right is bigger, and then I'm going to get ready to fill the jars. Do you want to come try this pie filling? It's hot, so please be careful.
Oh, that's good.
I got this spice blend from Azure. But I also added pumpkin pie spice.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh,
That's
good.
Sure.
I can eat a bowl.
I don't know if that's breaking some type of baking rule, adding pumpkin pie spice to my apple pie filling, but it just felt right, so I did it. Anyway, I'm going to go ahead and continue filling my jars, cleaning the rims, and putting on the lids. Look how pretty that jar looks. And then I'm going to put them all in the canner. So here I'm just going to take another peek at the applesauce. Still not as soft as I'd like them to be, so I'm going to continue to let them cook down. While everything else is processing, I am going to finish the second batch of sugar solution for my apple cider vinegar. Gonna give it a good stir here, and then I'm going to pour it in. At this point, I don't like how the peels and cores are floating, so I put my pie glass on top to submerge all of the peels. Now I'm going to cover the bucket with some cheesecloth to let it breathe, but also to keep impurities out. And then I'm just going to tie this on here and secure it and let it do its thing. In the near future, I will be posting a video specifically for the apple cider vinegar that goes over the steps of the process and shows you the progress along the way, so keep an eye out for that. Now that the first batch is done and has sat in the canner with the stove off for about 5 minutes, this helps prevent siphoning. I'm taking out all of the jars and putting them on the cooling rack. Now that the first batch is done, I'm going to go ahead and put the lid on the canner and bring to a boil the new jars for the next batch. While I wait for that to happen, I'm going to go ahead and give the counter a good clean down, and I'm also going to sweep the floor up a little bit. The jars are ready to go, so I'm going to go ahead and fill them with the remainder of the pie filling. It appears that I only have enough here for 2 more jars, so I'm going to fill them, clean the rims, place the lids, put the rings on, and then process them for the same amount of time as the rest. Now that the last 2 jars are done in the water bath canner, I'm going to pull them out and let them cool on the cooling rack. And then tomorrow we'll see how they do. I have let these jars sit for at least 24 hours without being disturbed, and now I'm taking the rings off and checking to make sure that the lids have sealed to the jar. I did have a little bit of siphoning here. You can see me wiping them off and explaining a little bit about it. I knew this would be a problem. Every time I've ever used clear gel for a pie filling, I've always had some siphoning, and so I always try to leave a little bit more headspace than the recipe calls for because clear gel really does expand. So I'm just going to take the time now to wash all of the jars that had some siphoning and let them dry. You may be asking, did you forget about your applesauce? Nope, I didn't. Here it is. I was letting it cook overnight. It's probably more like an apple butter now, but we're not gonna think about that too hard. As you could see, my hand masher really wasn't doing the job, so I pulled out my emulsifier here and I'm gonna give it a quick blend. Now that the jars are ready, I'm going to go ahead and bring in the applesauce and get ready to jar these up and process them in the water bath. Always remember to use tested and approved recipes from either Ball or any of the university preserving websites. Keep in mind that Ball recently made a statement that you should be using any of their books that are dated 2023 and later, so 2023 and 2024. I know that my current Ball book is outdated then, but I will still be using some of those recipes. So please double check your recipes and make sure they are safe. This batch of applesauce gave me 12 pint-sized jars. This is perfect for us. That will last us probably the whole year. We don't eat applesauce a whole lot, but we like to have it on hand for snacking and recipes. I hope that by watching these videos, you feel encouraged to try something new, to try canning. It's not so scary. If you just follow the directions, you'll be good to go. There is nothing more rewarding and satisfying than going into your pantry and pulling out shelf-stable food that you've made yourself. And don't forget to keep an eye out for my apple cider vinegar video. It will take a little time for it to ferment and process, but it's coming.